going through it and experiencing it, you definitely put a mask on, so you don't let anybody in. You don't want to be a burden, and you don't want to put, I guess, what you're feeling on somebody else. So you're this happy-go-lucky person on the outside, but really on the inside you're empty.
Yeah. Hello and welcome to The Human Now, where we're discussing ideas around what it means to be in this state of time. My name is Akash, and with me today I have some very, very amazing people. Do you guys want to introduce yourselves? Who do we have?
All right, my name is Albie. My background is Royal New Zealand Navy. I'm currently a youth worker within that space, and like how I normally introduce myself is, like my background, Niuean Samoan, and I'm also a father, and that's the way I choose to roll every time.
Sweet, man. Cool.
My turn?
Yeah.
Yeah. I'm Amelia, and I'm a event manager. That's me. Pretty simple.
Cool.
Hey guys, I'm Telisha. I'm a police officer, and I'm Akash's sister.
Cool. Thank you guys so much for coming along. Also, something I didn't tell you guys: the first thing we always ask people for when they come onto our podcast, just to bring everyone back onto the same level, is do you guys fold or scrunch?
Yeah.
Just
Fold.
T. Fold. Amelia.
Scrunch.
Yeah.
Albie.
I don't know.
Hands.
What a random.
It's just to lighten the mood, get everyone just release the tension, and Cool. Okay, so today's podcast centers around mental health and suicide. So just talking about creating and raising awareness around it. What is mental health? I think it's important, especially in this state of time, in this point of time. It's becoming a lot more common, could you say? Or more or less, I feel like it's something that's always been around. It's just being spoken more about now. And the way with things are with social media, just life in general. Most of the time we're not really taught about these things at school. But then in saying that, I think it's something it's a topic or an area which I think people kind of don't want to get into. Does that make sense? Do you guys agree with that?
Yeah, it's definitely a taboo topic.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think that's what I'm trying to say. And so kind of what we wanted to get out of this podcast was what mental health means and our experiences to us, but also what we can, or how we can recognize and what we can do for someone in our friend circle who is going through a certain stage in their life, and what we can do to help them, and then also for people who might be in situations, what they could do, and then also what we can do to just create and raise a bit more awareness. So did you guys just want to, just for the people who are listening and watching, I feel like this is probably going to be one of our most, it has the potential to be the most one in the deep and personal podcasts we've had, or probably the most realist. So yeah, thank you very much for just tuning along and being here, and I want to thank you guys as well. So do you guys want to start off with kind of how or what mental health means to you guys, or your experience with mental health?
Why are you guys looking at me?
You go.
No, you guys start. You guys go.
Policeman always first.
Policewoman, mate.
You go.
What mental health means to me?
Yeah. Okay, so if you don't mind talking from in the perspective of you and all your experiences from your job. So in terms of your job, but then also like as a friend, being someone who you could say holds this type of position in the community, what does mental health mean to you, and what have your experiences with mental health been?
Yeah, mental health is huge. It's not spoken about,
Mm.
you know. At work, we deal with it, I guess, all the time with people, you know, calling us for help, and even in our people that I work with. You know, I've had friends in and out of work that have approached me and, you know, told me that they're not in the right headspace. And I guess there's nothing really out there that kind of tells you how to deal with that
Mm.
as a person that's going through it or a person that's there to help. I guess for me, I've just been there, just listening, you know.
Yep.
Doing what I can to make it easier for them, whatever they need, sort of thing.
Yep.
I think that's all you got to kind of do, really.
Yeah. And growing up, what do you think, or do you think there was this thing around mental health? Like, was mental health a thing when you were?
I don't really
you
know
feel
much
like
about
you
it.
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't really know much about it.
Yep.
I never experienced it growing up, so I never
Yeah.
knew it. And people around me, I mean, they might have, but I didn't know.
Mm.
You know, so it was, I had no idea. I probably only experienced it when I was at work.
Yep.
When I started my job is when I actually learnt about it and heard about it. And then it was just, a whole new world that I didn't know even existed because it was never talked about.
Yep.
Mm.
Cool. Amelia?
Yeah, it's funny how you don't really hear about it or know what mental health is until you actually go through it, either yourself or a friend. Or
Yeah.
it's quite interesting how, for me personally, I 10 years ago was diagnosed with depression after my attempted suicide. So yeah, going through it and experiencing it, you definitely put a mask on,
Mm.
so you don't let anybody in. You don't want to be a burden, and you don't want to put, I guess, what you're feeling on somebody else. So you're this happy-go-lucky person on the outside, but really on the inside you're empty.
Yeah.
And I can kind of go along because I would have met you almost 10 years ago.
Yeah.
Hey, almost 10 years ago? 9 years ago I met Amelia. I had no idea.
Yeah.
Yeah.
No, and most people don't. Like,
No.
people will see me and they're like, how did you go from that to what you are now, kind of thing. It's an issue that needs to be talked about, and an issue that needs to be okay to be discussed.
Yeah.
Whether it's just in general conversation or in the wider, there definitely needs to be more support out there. Like, there's not, it was hard for me to go to a psychologist.
Yeah.
It took me, I had to literally go into hospital and then got basically sent to somebody
Referred.
to. Yeah. So, there's no, back then there wasn't any support or groups that you could I didn't know about, that you could reach out to.
Did someone tell you to go, or were you just like, I need to go to a hospital, or?
No, so my friends found me because I overdosed on pills. So they found me and took me to hospital. And then when I woke up, I kind of didn't realise I was still here.
Yeah.
So it was a bit of a shock because obviously I wanted to end my life. So, yeah, it took me a while to kind of come around to the fact that I'm still here. And it wasn't until going to my psychologist and learning about how to change my mindset from that negative to positive.
Yeah.
Until then, it was when I kind of started realizing that, okay, I need to start living.
Mm. And what about in terms of your friends, how when you were going through this, what was your relationship like with them? Would you kind of push them away, or you'd be okay for them to help, or you didn't want them around?
No, so like they were still good friends. They were around, but they had no idea.
Yeah.
Because I didn't let them in to that kind of side of. I guess it was my struggles, so I was like, well, I'll deal with it.
Yeah.
But you get to a point where, for me, I just couldn't see anything. It was just all black. And I remember the day after sitting a uni exam and coming home, and just on the bus, like I saw people in trees like hanging. And I was like, okay, this is like the universe giving me a sign to like go.
Yeah.
So I was just like, okay. So I went home and took pills and stuff. But afterwards, it's funny, like most of my friends didn't understand why or how, or because obviously you put on a mask, so they see that side of you. They don't realise how different, I guess, you are behind the scenes.
Yep.
And you are the only one that can let your friends in for help or ask for help. So it's a massive thing to do, I think, to ask.
Yeah.
And let people in. But you need to do it. Otherwise, you might not get to live another day.
Yeah.
So I'm very lucky that, my flatmates tell me. Otherwise, I potentially couldn't be here.
And what was the culture, the stigma around mental health? Was there a stigma or culture around mental health around that time?
Yeah.
You?
Yeah, definitely. Like my friends, I lost quite a few friends just because they couldn't understand suicide or mental health or how it can get that bad. And same with my family. Like they didn't really talk about it. They knew it happened because obviously mum and dad next to kin, so they got the phone call.
Yeah.
But they didn't. It's not until like later on now they're more open to talking about it, and back then it was definitely taboo and something just that was kind of swept under the cover. Like it wasn't acknowledged and it wasn't really, I guess, dealt with properly. Whereas now it's definitely changing. Like people are more open to talking about it and more open to listening and hearing different stories.
Cool.
Yeah.
Oh, thanks so much for that. I can understand it. Probably does take a lot to talk about, like what you've been through. And so I just want to say that, thanks. I really appreciate you sharing your story.
No problem.
Albie?
I don't know. And my take on it is that I've been in the Navy for 17 years.
Yeah.
And then it's a close knit environment.
Yeah.
And we have social workers there, so support was readily available no matter whether it was day or night. It was there. And so when I was going through that, I now that I look back on it, I'm extremely grateful, because obviously hearing stories like that, you don't know how good that kind of industry is when it comes to support in terms of mental health. And I was just glad that we had social workers that were there. We had a medical team that were there around the clock, and then care professionally it's there and it's free.
Yeah.
Where other people have to pay for it.
Yep.
So I'm definitely grateful in that respect. But in terms of like now, I think that people are more open to sharing their stories, and through obviously the grace of social media, people tend to put themselves out there and they feel more comfortable doing it in this kind of environment.
Yeah.
And they feel comfortable in posting a picture up with a message behind it.
Yep.
Which obviously generates concern and buy-in and everything else like that, and support. So I do think that it's come a long way in a short span of 10 or 15 years. And it's funny because I was having a conversation with someone the other day and about what I was doing to plan, 5 years in advance of how I can really speed up the process of mental health. And they were saying, there's so many people doing things for mental health this year, it's become a saturated type environment.
Yep.
So people trying to fundraise and things like that, they're not hitting their target.
Right.
To me, it's not about fundraising.
Yeah.
Hey, the money aspect means nothing at the end of the day.
Yeah.
True.
It's how people put themselves out there,
Yep.
generate that concern, and like I said earlier, the buy-in and that. So the more people doing stuff that push their their body to the limit, like the guys that done 24 hours tire flipping, the young girl that ran the length in New Zealand this year, all for mental health. And although they didn't generate a lot of financial buy-in, they got a lot of support and things like that. Yeah, and awareness raised.
Yep.
So I think that that equates to something.
Do you want to talk a little bit about in terms of culture, stigma around mental health in terms of culture?
I don't know, when
so from you said you're Niuean Samoan, is
yeah,
that right?
yeah,
So just within that community, because I know for the Indian community,
It's not talked about at
it's
all.
not talked about at all.
yeah,
Growing up, you don't really talk about your feelings or emotions with your parents. There's certain rules that you have to follow, so you can't be going and doing things, otherwise people talk about you, and that's kind of put on the family name, and there's this whole it just does. Mental health is just not a thing,
yeah.
in the Indian community. But even I think now, we're starting to see things like people are organizing senior citizens groups, youth groups, just groups to create awareness around it. So yeah, do you feel like the same thing?
I try not to
Yeah.
focus on the whole culture aspect.
Right.
I don't know, Telisha knows me. I'm always someone to go against the grain.
Cool.
And I think if I just solely focus on one thing,
Yep.
and let's say the Pasifika community,
Yeah.
I lose focus on everyone else.
Yep.
I'm always constantly thinking about how can I make the most impact
Yep.
across the board and not in just one thing.
Yeah.
But, I see where you're coming from, and I think that it only takes, one person or a couple of people from that specific background or ethnicity to do something amazing for it
Yeah.
to generate something,
Yep.
So let's just say that, I don't know, you doing the podcast, for example, and people will obviously see this, whether it's today or tomorrow or in 2 years or 10 years, it's still out there. And you, by doing this, you're generating conversation within your community.
Yeah.
So yeah, I think,
Yeah.
everyone has a bit to play, but yeah, for me, I think if I just focus on the Pasifika side,
Yep.
I don't think I only can make a small amount of impact. Rather than,
Did you also want to talk about your association to mental health? How did you get into doing what you're doing around mental health? What was the cause of that?
experiences. So
Right.
just like
Cool.
Amelia said, I went through depression, and
Yep.
and it was suicidal depression.
Yeah.
And you have all these suicidal ideations, and whether you act on it or not, it requires a lot of strength to
Yeah.
But it's not a nice thing to go through. And once you've gone through it, and you see other people go through it, you feel their pain.
Yeah.
And so you start to think about ways how you can, I don't know, not necessarily take it from them, but lessen that pain and the impact. And yeah, and
Yep.
I support, I think it's just support in a different perspective type
Yeah.
thing.
Showing them you can come out the other side.
Yeah. Yeah.
Right.
Yeah. You're not really there to solve it.
No,
You can't solve
Yeah.
it.
no, you
Yeah.
can't.
You're just there to.
Yeah. So what
be
could for someone like me, I haven't haven't been in the same situation, and I'm just learning to understand about mental health and what someone goes through, what depression is. So I'm always trying to figure out like what do I do?
Just be there.
Right?
Yeah. I mean, that's all you can do, and just support either your friends or your family.
Yeah.
Simple message,
Yeah.
even, just even sending them a text in the morning, or, if that there's something coming up for them, or I don't know, it's just
It's the little things, and you don't
making them feel
loved, noticed.
That's all it is,
I
loved.
don't know, and you might not actually notice it, but then afterwards, it's like you remember the little things that people do for you. Like my friend who went through depression, I made sure each day, like I said something, either commented about her outfit or her smile, or just something just to try and give her a boost of positiveness. So
I think on that part you have to be genuine too.
Yeah.
Like it's draining to be a support person. Also, not draining, but it takes a whole lot of energy and your time.
Yeah.
So you have to be genuine, and you have to want to be that support person. I found that you had a lot of people that would just come in and out when it suited them, but and like you've got to give someone their time if they're going through it. And I don't know, like to me it's easy to just sit there and listen. You don't even have to say anything.
Nah,
no.
you don't.
Yeah.
100%. You don't have to say anything. You just sit down there and just listen and let them get whatever they need to get off their chest, and because they're struggling to be heard, eh?
I also just want to talk about kind of the mind shift, like what did you guys do to change your outlook? Was it a shift in outlook, or like how did this trend? Do you guys want to talk about the transition and what that was like? Because I know like it can be a very real and intense situation, and if you can only see one way, like what does the other way look like in terms of things are actually going to be all right? I got people around me, I've got support.
I think that anyone that's dealing with depression doesn't want to be there. They don't want to be in that depressive state.
Right.
It's not like they consciously want to be down and and continuously want to feel that way. They don't want to wake up in the morning and feel the same way they they did before they went to sleep and that type of stuff. And so when people, I think you're always trying to think about how you're trying to get better, or how it does look on the other side.
Yeah.
But it does take time.
Yeah.
And like, your experience with depression would be different than my experience with depression, and so on and so forth. So, like what could have been 3-month recovery for her would have been 10 months recovery for myself.
Right.
It's just up to the individual and their support, network, and But I don't think that anyone solely thinks when they're in a depressive state that that's where they like to be.
Yeah, no, for sure. Just in terms of like raising awareness, Albie, did you want to talk about what you've just done and what you've completed?
Telisha, you can talk about what I've just done and completed. No, what I'm saying that is, it's probably, to me, it like,
because I'll talk about it. I'll talk about it too.
Yeah, and
but
you were
actually, you
I was
talk about
there.
it.
Yeah,
you
but
talk about it.
I just wanna. Okay, so
You talk
I'll
about
talk.
it.
Let me
From
talk
your
about it.
perspective, because I took you along and I told you, look at my mate. This is what my mate's doing. Do you want to come with me? Why did you come with me?
Cool. All right. So, for those who are listening and watching, Telisha was like, "Oh, do you wanna?" First it was like, "Oh, my mate Albie, he's doing this world record attempt to raise awareness around mental health and suicide. And he's also looking for he's looking for help. And so I was like, okay, like what can I offer? Okay, anything photo and video related, I can help. And it's around creating awareness. And so for me, that was like, I should be here so that I can learn about like just what is happening, in terms of the mental health scene. So for me, that was like my first reaction and thought. And then I was like, okay, let's just help, because this is what I can do in my capacity. And then it came around to the day. And so what it was Albie was punching for 60 hours straight on a punching bag. And we rocked up to the boxing gym. And then Albie standing there just like douche, douche, douche.
But this is like Wednesday. So he started on Monday, 9 o'clock.
Yep.
We got there Wednesday, 4:30, 5 o'clock in the morning. I think it was before shift. So yeah, 4:30, 5 o'clock in the morning. So he'd been doing it for what? Over 2 days. I don't even know what hour it was. I can't remember.
And for me going in and seeing this, I was just taken away. Like it takes just so much energy energy and heart. That the heart to be like, I'm going to do this. I'm going to raise for me, I was like, this means so much to you, just the want to the help, or for me, it was also just a celebration of life, like it's going to be okay, that type of thing. And then the other thing was just mindset, like how I couldn't put myself in the same situation. Do you know what I mean? Like I just had that much respect for someone who's attempting to do something like this. Like 60 hours is such a long time. When I saw you standing there, saw the support group that was around you who made sure you were going, like you're only sleeping for like 5 minutes.
Not even
or
that.
even that, like you got there, Albie was punching, and then he had a bit of a break, so he just laid straight down, and then the people around him were taking his socks off, changing his shoes, feeding him, and I was just like I was just speechless, but in so much awe, and I felt good and proud to see you attempt and do that, and then when we came back later that night, when it was coming towards the end of the time, just the amount of people in that room, like the whole gym was packed. The whole gym was packed. Everything was full. Like people were outside looking in because it was so packed inside. The community came down, and just to see how what you were doing, and just like you trying to communicate your message and the way it affected everyone else around you. I was like, this is just awesome. Like you've connected and you've touched so many people, and they appreciate you for doing just what you were doing. I thought that was just special. I don't know, I kind of just talking about how I felt about, being there. And if it's all good, we'll share some photos as well of what Albie was doing. But
what do you look like?
It was just like, this was the first time that I had experienced something like that, and seen someone do that. I just thought it was really cool. Do you want to talk about why you were doing it, and also what was going through your mind when you're in, say, the last hours, or was there ever a time where you're like, man, I just want to stop? Or
the reasons why I was doing it is, obviously to to get my message across about
Mm.
mental health,
Yeah.
and it was in particular suicide and depression,
Yeah.
and just based off my own experiences,
Yep.
raise that awareness. And I don't think that I could have done it without doing the 60 hours. Like I had to. There's a whole process where I don't have the platform.
Yep.
I'm not social media savvy, but this is what I want to do.
Mm.
Like I really want to push that message across. How do I do it? And I had to go through, who the people that inspired me. And it was a mate that done something similar, but for a different cause. And it was in the Guinness Book Records form, but it was burpees. And then I just had to, I went home after seeing my son's Guinness World Record book on the back seat, and I typed in boxing in the search thing on the Guinness World Records website. And the first thing that came up was that challenge.
Yeah.
And I read it.
This.
Yeah, and I read it, and like I thought, man, this will be awesome. One, I don't only want to break it, but I really want to pay homage to the guy that created it and why he did it, and he done it for his wife that passed away of cancer.
Right.
So that was very important for me to one, acknowledge that space.
Yeah.
To, do something challenging for myself while creating some kind of awareness, right?
Mm.
And then, and so back to that point where you said, the question asked if I wanted to quit. There was one point in time, and it was just before yous came,
Yeah.
Yeah.
actually, and on Wednesday morning. And so my mate, who's a physiotherapist, obviously started cramping up, and we're doing heat treatment for, all the night previously.
Yeah.
And then we done the ice treatment before he came, and he sprayed me with the ice spray. And obviously the fans were on, and I just remember standing up, and then I went cold, and my core temperature just dropped. And, like trying to warm your body up and get back on track, it took a hell of a lot of energy. And like I was still punching. I seen the video, and I was still punching and still conscious of what was going on. But like I was trying so hard to get back on track.
Yeah.
Because,
I think we saw you in that time, because I remember seeing you, and you were kind of like you were there when we got there, and then you're just kind of out of it.
Yeah.
It's
you're
like
lying
you're
on-
awake but not awake.
Yeah, and then you're like lying
in
on the
and out.
ground. And I remember I was with TK, and then we were just looking at you, just because of the way you were, it just made me want to cry.
Yeah.
The way you were, it's just, I don't know, it's just something hit me.
Yeah. It definitely and so, after 25 minutes, that's when hypothermia starts kicking in, eh?
Yeah.
And I just remember, although I don't think that I was there, but I just didn't want to get to that point where it was too far to come back. And I just I don't know, I don't know how I got back on track, but if it wasn't for my mate there, and saying certain things, I don't think that I would have been able to push through that time.
Yeah.
Although there was only 12, 13, 14 hours left to go.
Yeah.
I just don't I think I would have got through that point if it wasn't for the support system around me.
Yeah.
But yeah, I do remember you coming in. I do remember being on the ground, and just you're there but not there, eh?
Yeah.
You could see it.
Yeah.
You could see it. It was,
Yeah.
Just-
I was more disappointed in myself. That's the reason I didn't really want to quit, because it was hard. I wanted to. It was just something that came to my mind because I was really disappointed with my performance
Right.
and how I couldn't realign myself.
Yeah.
I was, and I started crying, man. And my mate asked me what was wrong, and I said, I'm really frustrated that I can't get back on track. Yeah.
Back on track in terms of
Of
The
getting
rhythm.
warm again, the
Yeah.
rhythm,
Yeah.
and just staying focused. Because I
Yeah.
knew after that it was going to be a long time.
Yeah.
After expending that amount of energy.
just to set the scene for those who are listening and watching. This is We'll put the pictures up as well. But basically, what it is there's a punching bag. There's a square around it, marked out, and Albie's standing in there, and he's just punching. It's 2 punches for every second.
The record was 1 punch every 2 seconds.
Right.
But like, just because boxing's my background,
yeah,
it's too slow. So I was doing 2 every second.
Cool. And if you can imagine, like, not just doing that for 5 minutes, but Albie's standing there for 60 hours. You know, once you start putting that into perspective, you can understand like where the muscle cramps, and because your body's not conditioned or trained to be in that situation. So that's just setting the scene. Do you want to speak about what else you're doing to raise awareness in terms of the burpee? Is it the what do we call it? The burpee challenge?
Yeah.
Or?
So there's a whole lot of things that I've got planned out, but one that's happening in a few weeks is in the military you do a 2.4 kilometer run fitness test.
Yep.
And so I thought, like, how can I leverage off what I done in October to continue to raise awareness for mental health, but this time put a different perspective, like a different angle on mental health.
Yep.
If that makes sense, stress and anxiety.
Cool.
And I thought, okay, what's challenging that I can do that doesn't take up so much time, and that other people, and I can create a community buy-in. So I thought, okay, 2.4 kilometers, that's okay. Let's tie that in. But what can we do? Okay, burpees. So that's how that all came about.
Yep.
Utilize my background. Something that people like love to hate is burpees.
Yeah.
I hate them.
Yeah.
It's like we've signed up, and I'm like, cool, man, like this. Oh wait, it's burpees.
Yeah.
I can just picture myself.
Yeah. So I thought, how can I create the community buy-in? And I thought, okay, it's only 6 times to run a 400-meter track.
Only.
But let's tie in and get teams of 4.
Yep.
Relay 100 meters, 100 meters, 100 meters. So an individual person, the max or the minimum, whether you choose to do more, will be 600 meters worth of burpees.
Right.
During that 2.4.
Yep.
So yeah, it's the whole aspect on it. And to tie in the stress and anxiety for Christmas, and especially disadvantaged families that can't give gifts to their kids or don't have, the financial stuff to have a nice Christmas lunch or dinner, whatever it may be. How can I, lessen that burden or whatever it may be called? So I'm encouraging people, rather than donate money, donate like gifts or cans of food or ham or whatever it may be, or necessities like toothpaste. A friend said to me the other day, it's like a can of food is $1, and that's okay, but like a toothpaste is $3 to $4.
Yeah.
And some people can't afford that.
Yeah.
So toothpaste, toothbrushes, whatever, just something that will help these disadvantaged families.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Cool.
Yeah.
Amelia, do you want to talk about in terms of just awareness or what kind of just your relation to raising awareness or what you do?
I don't do anything as amazing as what Albie does, but I just try and voice my story on social media platforms. Whenever it's a World Suicide Prevention Day or Mental Health Awareness Week, I just try to tell my story and let people know that is okay to not be okay. It is hard. Like, you do struggle with, so many people struggle with mental health, whether it's depression or anxiety. It's just trying to help them be aware of learning their triggers and just trying to make them ask for help, I guess, and
for sure
to know it's okay that if you're feeling sad, it's okay.
I don't know. I don't
Mm.
know. I don't. Yeah, I mean, I don't do what, like Amelia said, I don't do anything amazing like Albie does. But I guess when people do that, I raise awareness like that. So when Albie was doing it, I was sharing it,
Yeah.
told people about it, like told you to come. I was sharing my Instagram story, and then like a couple of people messaged saying, "This guy's awesome," and they were posting on their stories, and they weren't even there, And that for me, that's cool because it's like, so I've reached out to one of my friends who's now reached out to, I don't know how many people are following him.
Yep.
They'll, and they'll all click on it. And that's, that's what he wants.
Yep.
Is awareness.
Yeah.
So for me, I guess that's what I do is I share stuff like that all the time. Yeah, I don't.
Yeah, I think that's the same for me.
I just share stuff. Like people probably get sick and annoyed on me sharing stuff, but for me, that's how and social media is so huge these days. Like that's, people are on it all the time. People are always scrolling in their spare time. They always see it, and if it's something that jumps out, then they're going to click into it and they're going to want to share it with their friends and family. So if I see something that I think is inspiring or, might just make someone's day or help them in any way, like sometimes I don't even comment on the thing. Like, I just share it, reshare it or whatever, hoping that whoever sees it might help them,
Mm. Yeah.
Mm.
Something I struggle with after that is like, me, Telisha, is that I don't like, how people say amazing in that. Like, I don't take well to it.
Yeah.
I really don't. And when people say that, like, oh, how does it feel to be a Guinness World Record holder or whatever it may be?
Yeah.
But it's not about that.
It's not about that.
Yeah.
Like,
For sure.
I mean, like, when people say to me, that's not amazing. Like, it's everything outside that's amazing, like sharing stories and things like that. Like, the way that I see it is that for you to raise awareness in a different light by, sharing your story, that's amazing because you're vulnerable at that state, and if once it's out there, it's out there.
Yep.
And people will feed off that. They're like, oh, okay, her story is amazing, or his story is amazing, and how they've come about, and they've shared this. But then the hard part and what I see as the amazing part is everything after that, because automatically when people comment or want to private message you and go, okay, this is what I'm going through.
Yep.
Now, once you read that, you become extra vulnerable because you have to, and you become that support person unconsciously. And do you know what I mean? Like,
Yeah.
And so that, to me, that's the amazing part. Is that
Right.
It's continued. Like, my thing is 60 hours, and that stays on October 21st.
Yeah.
Where the flow-on effect is.
It's so much bigger than just one day and one
100%.
event. That's just kind of like the beginning.
Yeah.
Almost just to be like a checkpoint.
Yeah.
But actually, this whole thing is so much bigger than just an event.
Yeah. So what I'm saying is that the amazing part is what people are doing.
Yeah.
Beyond that and around that, and
For sure.
Yeah.
You're starting the conversation, and then people are reacting to it, which is really cool.
Yeah.
Do you guys have anything else that you wanted to share or just get out there?
Just remember it takes time. Like, if you're feeling sad or down, don't be too hard on yourself. It took me over 2 years, 3 years before I started feeling happy again. So it does take time. And remember that there are people out there who love you and care for you. So just either sit with them, ask for help. Don't be afraid, because people are kind.
Thanks, Amelia. Albie?
I think it's important to, just like Amelia said, it does take time, and we said it earlier on, is that people's someone's depression is obviously will be different from another person's depression, and that. So I think and what I found when I was going through depression is I knew my mate was going through depression, and I was like, why is he so much better now. It took me ages to realize that like my struggle is different to his, and his support network is different to mine. And so it, like Amelia said, it does take time, and people are kind, and people generally do care, and they do, they do love you, and they want to see you get better. And like I think what I really want to push next year is this whole support network. Like I said, it's really hard to be a support person.
Yep.
And I don't think people generally know how. There's no guidelines on being a support person, eh?
Yeah.
And
because I feel like it's quite like a tricky thing, because you don't want to you don't want to hurt anyone.
Yeah.
So like in doing that, you're kind of like or you just like what do I do? You just don't know. And there's just no one there there are like resources out there, but I kind of feel like, I'm always like, oh, what do I, should I be careful of saying this? Should I be careful of doing this? And
it's almost like the more we talk about mental health, I don't know how you guys see it is, but the stigma will start to decrease a little, more.
For sure.
But then the stigma of a support person will take effect. That's what I think anyway. Hey, like, oh, you're not doing the support person right. You're not listening, or you're answering back. So, well, is there a guideline? I'm not too sure.
Yeah.
I don't think there is. Not with mental health, like you say, because it's so different for each person, and the struggle that you go through is extreme. It's basically your own, and you have to deal with it.
Yeah, in your own taking
way.
It like say for me, like say if it was Amelia right now, for her it might just be she just wants someone to listen, so just be okay, listen. Then for Albie it might just be let's just go do something, go play sport or whatever, like so it's like you just kind of as a support person trying to figure out, or you're just what do they like to do? Okay, let's go do that. And then if they talk, but you can't pick it out of them. You know what I mean? Like you're never gonna know what everyone's going through, but you can't just be like, are you all good today? Are you like, you can't always do that, because everyone's always gonna say, yes, I'm good. Like no one's actually gonna be like, right now it's getting there, but not everyone does that straight away. Like I'm not gonna tell you if I'm having a bad day. Like why would I do that? But some people, like whenever people ask me, if I'm having a bad day, I never tell them.
Telisha said, when you're away on holiday, you don't have to mention any names or anything.
I can share it.
Yeah, but share what you messaged me.
So this was probably a month and a bit into my trip. I messaged you about it actually afterwards.
Yep.
So I don't know if you know about Amelia, but a month or into my trip, I had this dream where I hadn't spoke to my friend in probably been a year maybe. It'd been a year, and anyway, I had this dream, and I was at work, and they're talking about this person, and they're like, they've committed. It was weird. They're committing this crime, or whatever. And then I was looking, and I was like, I know that person. That person's my friend. Didn't say anything. They were, looking this person up on Facebook, and their Facebook story showed them doing something to harm themselves, and straight away I was just like, oh my gosh, like what are they doing, sort of thing. I pretty much grabbed one of my mates, got in the car, and then I'm calling another mate that knows that person, being like, do they still live at this address? I'm going there. And in my dream, I just pretty much go through the front door, get them, and I start doing CPR, and then I just wake up. I just woke up, and I was just shut up on my bed, and I kind of had a nightmare. Like it was a nightmare. And I was just like upset, and I was just like, oh my gosh, I can't believe I dreamt that. What does it mean? First of all, what does it mean? Is that person okay? Is it something to do with me? I don't know. Like, I just didn't know. And then I thought about it. That whole day was on my mind. And I was just like, oh, do I message this person? I'm like on the other side of the world. Like, how do I even tell this person? Like if I was there, I would have gone to see them and be like, hey, are you okay? Or, but it was kind of like, how do I do this on the other side of the world? And I remember messaging, I think I messaged you. I think you were the first one to message, and I was just like, what do I do? Like, do I go talk to them, or, because I wanted to, but it was that whole thing that I'm on this other side of the world, and, what if it's just all poos, really? You know, what if this dream is just a dream, you know? So I actually ended up messaging, and I was just like, I know it's really random. I'm messaging out of the blue, but I just wanted to check in. Is everything all good? And they were like, oh, yeah, everything's, you know, it's been okay. That's what it was. It's been okay. And they see, and I see, because I said, oh, I had a dream about you. And they said, oh, I'm curious about this dream. And I was like, oh, nah, it's all good, you know, can tell you about it when I get back or whatever. And they're like, nah, nothing's going to faze me. Like, you know, I'm already, and like, this person kind of already gave me the kind of feeling like, because I seen a lot of my job, I kind of already had the feeling that, yeah, by what they're saying, it means, yeah, they're going through depression or they're going through that whole suicidal sort of thoughts or done it or whatever. And so then I just told them, I was like, well, I didn't tell them the full story. I just said to them, I just had a dream that you want to hurt yourself. So I didn't tell them the full thing. And then pretty much that opened up everything, and they messaged back and they're like, yeah, I want to harm myself. I've been going through this. I've got a bit more support now, doing a bit better. And then for me, it was like I felt bad. I know I shouldn't feel bad, but I did feel bad because I was like, why didn't I ever see this, or why didn't I even stay in contact with this person? But you can't stay in contact with so many people. Like,
No.
you know, you meet so many people on the daily and you have so many friends, but you can't always stay in touch with everyone. But they kind of also taught me, it's like, well, you know, I need to do something to, you know, it doesn't have to be every day, but, you know, once in a while, just be like, yeah, just message the person, be like, I'm thinking of you, you know, whatever. So when this person messaged me that and they told me what was happening, and then we planned, we're like, sweet, when I come back from my holiday, we're going to meet up. And then, yeah, we met up, and then I told more about my dream, and then, yeah, it's got some other things talking that I can't talk about right now, but it's opened it up. And for me, yeah, it was a big eye-opener, because it was just like, why did I even have this dream? Like, why me?
Because the universe
like-
works in funny ways.
He
That's
messaged me
exactly
saying
what I
that because the
said,
universe is speaking to you, and I said, why me? Not that I'm saying that I don't want to be that person, but I'm just saying, why me though?
I
You
don't know,
like,
who
why me?
knows?
Like, why?
Maybe there was something that you needed to say, or that person needed to hear from you.
Like, out of it, for me, it's I don't know. I've always cared about my mates, always.
Yeah, you've got a massive heart, and everybody knows that.
I think like it took a lot, you know, for you to message that person, and it is really hard to do that, eh? And so I think, you know, kudos to you for doing that.
What I said was, I was like, Telisha's always been the light in our lives, you know, whenever you see her, just the smile. You know, it's so it just lights you up. You know, and I was like, it's your time. You know, like, you're in this position because this is who you are in your nature. You know? You good?
Sorry.
No, man. Thanks for that,
It's
man.
emotional, eh?
Yeah,
Yeah.
it is. It is such a. It's such a real, like, it's such a human. It's such a human thing, you know, and we can't be isolating. We have to be normalizing it. These types of conversations, you know, because, like, it is. At the end of the day, I feel like everyone goes through it. You know, it affects everybody, and the only way we can, the only way I feel like the only thing we can do is make it normal and make it okay. Make it okay to not be okay, because at the end of the day, it's just human. It is who we are. You know, we can't be. We're not perfect. We're never gonna be perfect. We can't make everyone happy. You know, like we have to. It's just yeah. You good?
I'm good. This is
That got me quite emotional
Yeah,
too.
me too.
because
Sorry.
I don't always see T cry. You know, when T cries, it's like my big sister's crying. Whoa. You know?
First time I seen her cry is when she made us lose the log run.
Oh, I did not cry.
on our
I think you were crying, to
exercise
be honest.
activity. It's all right, Telisha, you let us down, but it's okay.
Hey, I held the two together, man. Yeah, I think it's just so what I was saying is that from that, what I learnt was that I was I don't know, I was kind of like going through a mind space where I was talking to people and I was talking and catching up, keeping in check with my mates, but I didn't feel like I was actually being there for them, like being there, or being a good friend or family member or whatever. And then I don't know if people even caught on to it, but what happened was from that I actually started after that happened, like every day or so I just choose someone and just be like, oh, thinking about you, hope
I noticed that.
Yeah,
You sent it to me a couple of times, and I was like,
yeah, it's just I was just thinking about you, hope, because I'm on the other side of the world. I wasn't even here, and for me, family and friends is huge. So when I was actually I haven't said this to many people, but when I was actually overseas, a month in, I actually cried. I was over there, and it wasn't, like, here I am. I'm so fortunate, blessed to be traveling the world and doing what I, just doing what everyone wants to do, and then one day, I don't know, I just got sad.
So much so that I got woken up and had to make sure my mum comes into the room and she's like, oh, we're on a video call and Telisha's crying, and I was like, why is she crying? She's just crying.
My mum didn't know what to do. My mum was sad. I think my mum just felt helpless, and she was sad, and she's like, you can talk to her, you know what to say, whatever. It was real early in the morning for these guys. It was real late at night for us. We were in Turkey. I remember we just landed in Istanbul, and we were traveling, and we were in the car ride to where we were staying. And I don't know, I just was sad. Like, it just came to me, like, it's not even I wanted to be sad. Like, here I am, like I said, I was having the best time of my life, And then it just came to me, and I was just sad, and I just missed my family and friends. I missed home, and, or like, it wasn't, I don't know, it was weird. And, like, why should I be feeling that when my husband's sitting right next to me? But I was feeling it. Even he didn't know what to do. He was just like, are you okay? Like, so yeah, I'm fine. Like, crying.
But at least you let it out. Like, I think that's what you've got to do with feelings. You've just got to feel them. Like, I still get sad days, and it's like, why am I sad? Like, I don't understand. Like, I've got everything that I want, achieving things that I thought I would never achieve. I'm still alive, living each day. But yeah, you just get, I don't know, an emotion, and it just comes over you, and you've just got to, for me, I've learned with my steps is to have my sad day. So I like binge watch like really sad chick flicks, make myself cry, and just feel it. And then the next day I wake up and I'm like, I don't need to be sad anymore. Like, I've done that. So it's
a weird thing. Because I never had been through it. I never went through it, and it was just, I didn't even know what to call it. I was just, just being a sook. I don't know. It was just, I'm not like that. Well, I don't think I was like that. And then, and that's why then, that once after talking to Akash, and then, because I can't remember if my dream was before that or after that. I think it was after that. It was after my dream. That dream came to me after that day, so it wasn't before that at all. But after that, and after the dream, it was like, I just started, messaging my friends, or started, just putting more positive things out there, because it was just like, me reading it sometimes, it's just like, oh, wow, that connects with me, or, you know, and all it is just checking in with your friends.
You always put up quotes, and I'm just like, it's amazing. Like,
oh, it's, I don't know, it's just there.
yeah,
You know, it's not, you know, you don't have to read it, you don't have to believe in it or whatever, but it's just there for anyone. Because, I guess for me, when that was happening, it was just, I don't know. It was just, for me, it's just mindset, you know. And that was for me. I just had to look at it in a different way. Like, oh, yeah, that's happened, sweet. Yeah, it's, now what can I do? And that's what it was for me. And so that's what I do. And
I kind of relate that to like a smile, you know, or like saying, just acknowledging someone is like, you don't even, like, we don't know what other people are going through. We don't know how their day is going, but
it can change someone's day.
It can change someone's day. Just saying hello, holding the door open, you know, just doing something.
Yeah.
I've found.
I had that recently, because, you know, my hair's short. So I was standing in line and the lady at the airport was just like, oh, so you can go this way. And I looked at her and I was like, she's like, oh, so sorry. And I was like, oh, like that didn't faze me though. But, you know, it could have phased someone, say if they had issues with their looks, you know, that could phase someone. But, you know, I didn't care. Like, get it all the time. It doesn't phase me at all. I've got my hair short, you know. You know, I go on the line and I was like, oh, that, you know, it's just a weird, funny thing sort of thing. But I go on the plane and then as soon as I go on the plane, lady, you know how they read your ticket and give you the seat number? You know, she read it and she's like, oh, I really like your hair. You know, and it's just like, you know, so like for me, you know, again, I was just like, oh, it's just a haircut. I haven't even done anything to my hair today. But for someone that's going through that, even just that, you know, and then sat down and then she was just so nice. Like, even when they're giving out snacks and stuff, you know, I was eating my chips and then she's like, oh, how are the chips? And I was like, oh, they're pretty good, you know. And she goes, oh, because people are complaining. Some people have complained it's stale. And I said, nah, not at all. She's like, do you want another one? Sweet. And gave me another one, you know. Like, and it's just like little things, you know, you just don't know. Like, it's just be nice. And I think that's what people, you know, people are nice, but they can be nicer, you know.
Just being aware that you might not see what's happening.
Yeah, like she might have just been like, oh, it's nothing, like it's just a packet of chips or, you know, whatever. But, you know, for me, it's just like, you know, that was nice that she gave me another pack of chips and I'll remember that, you know.
Yep.
You always remember the compliments or the nice gestures people do for you. And it might not, if you're going through depression, you might not notice it then, but you will eventually notice it.
Yeah.
The little things.
Just before we wrap up, like the way the Human Now started was just asking, like, I was like, oh, what you know, what does it mean to be human? What does it mean to be now? And therefore that's where the Human Now came out of. So I wanted to ask you guys, what do you feel? What do you think it? Like, it's such a huge question, you know, and there's no one right or wrong answer, but what do you feel it is to be human to you guys?
I struggled with these questions when you put them in the post. I was like, oh God, like, I'm not quite sure. But I was thinking about it. I was like you say, it's a massive question, and I guess everybody can take it differently.
Yep.
But for me, being human is being present and being alive and enjoying life.
Yeah.
That's what I took from it.
Cool. Yeah. Albie?
Google didn't work, eh? I don't know. I was actually thinking about this on the way up from Cambridge today. But I think it's about being content, eh? I think with where you are in life, like, it's always going to change.
Yep.
That goalpost is always going to shift either side. But yeah, being content. My mental skills coach taught me one thing, and that was your core values. And I think once you establish that, that's your basis and that's your line of life.
Yeah.
You know, and whether you choose to alter port or starboard of that track, it's up to you. But I find that no matter if I'm feeling really good about myself or other people or feeling bad about myself, I always try and tend to realign by keeping those core values at the top of my head. But yeah, just being content, I think.
Yep.
I think being human is just being you. Just being you, doing you, you know, being alive. And then now is just pretty much now it's straightforward, you know, just, you know, you don't know what tomorrow brings.
Yep. Yeah, that's like for me being human is like what Albie said, you know, it's content, just knowing that you do experience like the good days and the bad days. You know, you are happy, sad, angry, mad, you know, you
You're human.
experience all these, that's human,
You're
and
human.
it's completely okay to be that, you know, and yeah, just when you've got your values there, it's all good.
Yeah.
I think with that whole being content thing is not caring what people think, hey?
Yeah.
People are always going to judge you.
Yep.
And and when like how you put your, you know, how we put ourselves out there on social media and whatever it may be, or in these types of situations, people are always going to choose to see the negative side of things.
And there will be those people.
They are
There
those
will,
people.
and they are.
100%.
Yeah.
Yep.
And yeah, and that's I struggled initially for like, I don't know, 2-3 minutes, was it? Like, why are people doing that? And I just thought, it's just,
A small percentage,
Yeah.
but they're there.
Yeah, that was like a big thing for me when like we started the podcast. You know, it was like who are we to first put this out there, and then also like the other thing was like, what are people going to think of us and think of me? You know, like they're just gonna judge me. But then it was like, the world needs more positivity. You know, like a little more positivity doesn't hurt. You know, so if negativity is going to come, then I'm just going to give positivity. You know, and if I'm all good with that, then it's all good.
I think, once you come to terms with not caring about what people think and people are always going to judge you, it's freeing.
Yeah.
yeah,
Yeah.
100%.
Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah.
Cool. Oh, that was just thank you guys so much. You know, thank you so much for your energy, and then also for your vulnerability as well, for being open and allowing this to be a space where we can talk about mental health, depression, and suicide, because it is a huge. It's a part of our life. So I did want to thank you guys so much for giving your time and coming to speak today. I really appreciate it. Yeah.
I know. You know, I nearly didn't want to come.
Hey,
Yeah.
how come?
You know how you're saying that whole human now thing, you know, because I finished night shift this morning, finished late, and I was like, I'm just so tired. I was like, I just want to go home and sleep.
Yep.
You know, that's what
Yep.
was in my mind. And I was just like, what am I going to talk about? I felt like I'd have not value, but, you know, that's all in mine, you know, and that's just how I felt this morning.
Yep.
But now I'm just like, I'm so glad I came.
You probably like have, you know, if I was to think about it, the most experience
That's
with
ex-
dealing
exactly,
with depression,
Yeah.
Exactly.
you know?
Yep.
Yeah.
And so like, out of all of us, you're the most experienced.
But I feel it, you know, I'm like the young,
Yeah.
oh, well, Akash is the youngest out of you two, like, you know, I'm one of the youngest, and I just,
But
I
seeing
don't know.
people in that state and, you know,
Yeah.
like when people are, you know, wanting to commit suicide or anything like that, the first port of call is you guys, right?
Yeah,
So,
yeah.
you know, like you'll be
Mm,
in that perspective a lot more experience than us,
yeah. I don't deal with it anymore
right?
because of the type of role I'm in now.
Yep.
and
But
what
it's
I've
still
been
present
in.
though,
But
eh?
yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. It's still present. It's still there. You always hear the jobs going on when you go to your job, or, you know, or hear about people around you, you know. But yeah, that's just how I felt. I just wanted to tell you. It's just, you
No,
know.
man. But exactly what Albie said, man. Like, people always gravitate towards you.
Mm.
You know, like you've got energy or vibration on you. So yeah, don't feel like you don't have value to bring, because that's exactly what the universe was doing for you through that dream.
Totally.
You know, like don't undermine or undervalue yourself because you're the positivity that people need, or that vibration or the energy. It's a superpower, man.
It's
a smile.
That's my
It's the
superpower.
smile. See that laugh? It's that laugh.
That's the laugh, yeah.
Whenever you don't even have to be in the room, you could be walking into the room, and if you hear that laugh, you're like, oh, I know who's here.
Yeah.
When you come home and you hear that laugh, you're like, oh yeah, T's home.
You just gotta relax, eh?
Well, anyone that's watching, if you do need help, there is 1737. You can text or call it.
Yeah.
Cool. Thanks for that, Amelia.
Yeah. It's a really good helpline, and it's open 24/7. So yeah.
Cool. Thank you guys so much, and yeah, thank you so much for tuning in, for being here with us. Mental health, depression, suicide, these are things everyone goes through. If you are in a situation, then please know that it's okay to be where you are. Like, you're not in the wrong, you're not hurting anyone, it's completely normal. And there are services out there which you can go to. You can also talk to, I'm sure these guys are here to help, but also like your friends and family. There is someone there who will talk to and be there for you. Don't feel like you are a burden on someone, or that you're not going to be listened to, because there will be someone to listen to you. Yeah, thank you so much for tuning in. Thank you guys for being here and bringing energy and your time. If you feel like you have taken value from today's podcast, please do share it. If there is someone who you feel should watch it or should hear it, please do share it forward to them.
Raise awareness, eh?
Yeah.
Yeah. Definitely.
Can we sign off with Albie's little saying?
Sounds good to me.
Yeah.
Sounds good to me.
What?
You know your saying.
Oh, the saying.
Your saying. I love it.
Yeah, man.
All right, so you're loved, you're worth it, and you mean something to everyone, especially me.
Perfect.
Cool.
That's it. Usually we end with until next time. Be
Oh,
now.
Yeah.
you can
But
do
this
that.
was good.
I just love it, man. I love it, man. I love it.